Hi, I'm Urvashi from TwoSleevers.com, and today I'm going to do a really quick review of the Instant Pot Mini Duo. So let's get started with that one. The first thing we're going to do when we start, egregious plug for the cookbook, which is on Amazon.com, so I hope you'll get it. But getting back to the Mini, I asked people in the Two Sleevers Facebook group what it is that they'd like to hear about, and what people really wanted to understand was, why would you need this? What kind of things might you use it for? How much does it truly hold? Can you do pot and pot? And because the wattages are different, do we have to adjust recipe time? So I'm going to address each of those questions. A real quick thing about what's the same, the buttons are the same. If you have a Duo right now, this is going to feel like home to you. It's just a little bit smaller, but the buttons are the same, the functions are the same. The size and the footprint is different, the wattage is different, I'll talk about that. And for some reason, this one will pressure cook for 6 hours. Who makes what for 6 hours? I don't know, I've never used it. If you do, let me know. The other ones will do pressure cooking for 4 hours, this one will go for 6 hours. So hey, additional feature. In terms of use, so the main thing about it is it takes up less counter space. So this thing is about 71 square inches, and the bigger ones, the 6-quart ones that I have, are 113 square inches. So a third less counter space, and you can think about all the situations in which you might need that. So an RV, when you're traveling, hotels, dorm rooms, you know, if you live in a smaller apartment, if you have 16,000 gadgets and your counter space is already at a premium, you might want one of these little ones. But I think the other thing is the size makes it really easy to do side dishes in it. So like rice, vegetables, dessert, yogurt. It's really perfect for that while your big one is making butter chicken, obviously. I think it makes meals for between 2 and 4 people. I'll show you some of the details so that you can decide if it's 2, 4, or 6 people in your household. And then of course there's that 6-hour pressure time for some reason. By the way, I'm dying to know, if you cook something that long, let me know what it is. Okay. Not that all of us are addicted to gadgets, but the main question that's coming up is, will my other PIP, pot and pot things fit? I have a pot and pot video for those of you who are wondering how to do this. You can watch that. So look, here's the thing. This thing is 7 inches wide and 4.5 inches tall. What that means is the rack that it comes with is unique to it. You can use the smaller one and the big one, but not vice versa. So your regular rack is not going to fit. It also means that any pots that you have that are 7 inches wide are not going to go into this. So I happen to have several that are 6 inches. 6 inches by 3 is about, I think, the maximum of what you want to try to cram in there comfortably and safely. So just look at your pans and look and see what's going to fit in there. You know those little aluminum like meatloaf pans, those fit just fine. You could probably stack a couple in there. But any 7-inch ones are not going to work. I do have a push pan on my blog that's 6 inches. So just take a look at what you've got and you can decide what's going to fit in there. Okay, capacity. So here's some examples that I want to show you. The first thing I made was 1 cup of dried black beans, 10 ounces of frozen yogurt, frozen spinach. I was making the black-eyed peas and spinach from my blog. That took 2 cups of water, and then I was able to put a little steamer rack and aluminum foil pan with another ½ cup of rice and water. So in our family that fed 4 of us. Your mileage may vary on that one. You can have 8 cups of cooked soup. So that's not filling it to the brim, that's filling it to the 2/3 capacity so that it's not dangerously full. So look at 8 cups of soup, for example, and see how far that would take you in your household. It makes 4.5 cups of uncooked rice. So on the Instant Pot site, it says 6 cups, but they're talking about their smaller cups. So regular cups is 4.5 cups, which is about 8.5, 9 cups of cooked rice. So that's quite a bit. Again, think through how far that will go in your household. 2 cups of beans, which normally dried beans, which will take about 4 cups of water. And then if you cook meat, this is 1 pound of meat is sitting in here, looking quite lonely. There's room for another pound to go in. So if you wanted to say double my butter chicken or chicken korma recipe, you could do it. If you wanted to double the chicken biryani, you could obviously do that. The lamb biryani, all of those things will cook really well in here. And on yogurt, I would say ½ gallon is a safe, comfortable amount without filling it to the brim. So look at a ½ gallon bottle of milk and see if that works in your family. But again, for most families, this is somewhere between 2 and 4 people. So I think it'll do a really fine job of cooking whole meals. Obviously it'll cook side dishes, but even whole meals, you could actually get by with it just fine. Okay, time. So here's the main difference. This thing is 700 watts. The Ultra, anything that's 6 quarts, I think, is 1000 watts. Okay, so the important thing to remember is time under pressure. How long does it take something to cook under pressure? It's going to be the same. Because when pressure is achieved, there's a certain temperature and the pressure is suppressing the boiling point of water. So you should be fine in terms of time under pressure. Time to pressure is going to be different. Time to pressure is impacted by several things. So one, it's impacted by how full the pot is. It's impacted by what you have in there, and then it's impacted by wattage. So you guys know I'm not an electrical engineer, but I am a data scientist. And so what we did was, to keep as many variables common as possible, we filled both pots with 4 cups of water. And what we found was the Mini, with its 700 watts, took 11 minutes to come to pressure with that water, whereas the Ultra, with its 1000 watts, took 10 minutes to come to pressure. So a minute difference in how fast 4 cups of liquid came to pressure. Okay. What that means to me is the Mini takes 30% less electricity, but only takes 10% more time, right? It's the wattage is the electricity, and then the time is obviously the time. So it's 30% less electricity, 10% additional time, which to me suggests that it's more electricity efficient. So if that's a concern for where you live, or if you're traveling in an RV, etc., the Mini is actually more efficient in a lot of ways. And then of course it's making smaller amounts of food, so you don't have to worry about freezing, etc. So just recapping really quick, I think it's really good for side dishes. It's good for rice, yogurt, vegetables, desserts. It's really good for smaller families if you have limited counter space, or if you have electricity issues, like you want to conserve electricity. I think it would be a slightly better option. Capacity, I feel like it will make 2 to 4 meals, 2 pounds of meat easily, half a gallon of yogurt easily, 2 cups of beans easily. Pot and pot, your pot must be no more than 6 inches wide, and probably I would say at most 3 inches deep. And then the time we talked about, I do believe it's a little more efficient. So would I get it? Absolutely. I love it. In fact, I'm thinking about getting one for my son so that he can cook in it, because he's cooking smaller quantities, obviously. If you have a Duo, it's really easy. If you have an Ultra, the controls are a little bit different, so you might have a little, learning curve with it. And it does not self-seal, which is the thing I love about the Ultra, but the Mini does not self-seal, so you just can't be absent-minded like I am. But I mean, I think it's a great pot, and I think it'll really work well as an adjunct to a larger pot that you have. And that is my honest opinion about the IP Mini, which is also very cute. So I hope you guys will check it out, and I hope you'll check out the book. My last plug for the book on this video. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Urvashi from TwoSleepers.com.